welcome back to my channel. It's Mrs. Maths here. So today we are looking at the 2019 paper question 1. It's the Leaving Cert ordinary level paper. So Emer earns a gross wage of €40,000 per annum. You can see there that I've circled 40,000. Emer pays income tax at 20% up to the standard rate cut-off point of 35,300. She pays a rate of 40% on the remainder. So we consider that the higher rate of tax. She's a tax credit of 1,650, and the question is, how much income tax does she pay? With these questions, just be very careful about what they're asking you. In some cases they're asking you for the income tax she pays. Sometimes they might ask what is her take home pay. So just double check what they're asking. So what we need to do here is we need to find 20% of her standard rate cut-off point. She earns more than the standard rate cut-off point, so we find 20% of that. You can use the percentage button on your calculator for this. We just care that you're getting the right answer here. We're not really bothered about which method you use. You could also use a decimal version, so convert your percentage to a decimal by dividing by 100, then multiply. You could also use a fraction if you wanted to, so 20 over 100, and multiply it as well. That's personal preference. Whatever way you were taught and whatever way you've been doing it is perfectly fine. I just did both here. You should get 7,060. That's how much tax she will pay at the lower rate or the standard rate. Then we need to see how much more there is left to tax. So the difference between the standard rate cut-off point and what her actual gross wage is the amount that is going to be charged at 40% tax. So I do a calculation here. I subtract one from the other and I get 4,700. That is going to be charged at the higher rate of tax at the 40%. So I do that calculation here. Again, I'm using the decimal version. You can use 40%, use the percentage button on your calculator if you prefer. I get 1,880. Notice that I've put just kind of a box around these. I've highlighted them for myself because there's an awful lot of numbers on that page already. And when you have those, I need to go back and get this number and get this number. So they're very obvious to me and I'm less likely to forget about them or lose them or use the wrong number. So I add those together and I get 8,940. I consider that my gross tax. So that's before any credits have been subtracted. So I subtract my tax credits, which we are told about, and I get 7,290. We consider 7,290 to be our income tax that we pay. Tax payable is another way of explaining it, so I'm going to write that in. Tax payable. Okay. When you're being asked about how much tax somebody has to pay, generally you're talking about tax payable. They rarely will ask you for their gross tax. It's always how much tax are they going to pay. So that is part A, and that is the full amount of workings that I would like to see as an examiner. Okay, so in part B, Emer pays her health insurance, which costs her 1,500 net. Find her annual income after paying income tax and health insurance. So they're looking for her net annual income, or sometimes we will call it her take home pay. So literally what she gets in the bank after all her deductions have been taken away. So we know that she starts off with 40,000, so let's write that down first. That's her income. We are now going to subtract the amount of tax she's paying, or income tax, which is 7,290, which we got from above, and you can still see it here on the screen. We're also going to subtract the health insurance that she pays, which is 1,500. And we're going to subtract all of those and we're going to get an answer for her take home pay. So we get 31,210. So we call that her take-home pay or her net annual income. And that's it. Okay, so part C of the question, we're talking about if Emer changed jobs to company B. So with company B, they say that she will be given a gross wage of 38,000 and she'll get a bonus of 1,500 tax-free, which she would use to possibly pay her health insurance. Tax rates and tax credits remain the same, and what they're asking us is how much her net annual income would increase if she went with company B. So we need to redo all the calculations for her income tax and compare them. So what I've done here is I've just wrote down the 38,000, that's what her gross wage would be with company B. Her standard rate cut-off point, which I got from part A that we did earlier, is 35,300. And we are going to calculate how much she's going to pay at the 20% rate. So our first calculation will be 20% of 35,300. And we get 7,060, which we got already in the previous question. So you could also just take that from the previous question. Again, I'm just going to highlight it for myself. The next step then is to see how much we need to charge at the 40% rate, the higher percent. So I'm going to take the 38,000. I'm going to subtract the 35,300 because I've already taxed that. I don't want to tax it again. And I see that I have 2,700 of Emer's income to tax at 40%. So when I do that calculation, I get 1,080. Again, I'm going to highlight that because I want that to be obvious to me when I'm going back looking for my numbers. Okay, so we added our tax values together. We got 8,140. The tax credit is 1,650, which we got from part A in the question. I need to subtract my tax credit from my gross tax, and that will give me my tax payable. This gives me 6,490. That's my tax payable. She's paying less tax because she's earning less. However, the bonus that she gets will directly go straight towards her health insurance. So really there's no calculation to do here. So what we need to do is we need to look at what our take-home pay is now. So our take-home pay is our 38,000 subtracting 6,940, which is our tax, and that gives us 31,510. So 31,510 is our take-home pay from company B. Always go back to the question and just find out exactly what they want. Find by how much Emer's net annual income will increase if she accepts. So we need to find the difference between this take-home pay and the previous take-home pay. So if we just move back down the page, so you can see here for company A her take-home pay was 31,210 and for company B it was 31,510. So she will earn €300 more if she moves to company B. How do we find that? We subtract one from the other. And that is our answer. Like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have any suggestions or any requests, please put them down in the comments below. You'll find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Just search Mrs. Maths Ireland. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.